Latin America is one of Siege's two major regions that has yet to win a major championship. The biggest thing that a LATAM team has won was Team Liquid defeating Pentasports back at the Season 7 Pro League Finals in Atlantic City almost 2 years ago. They now have 4 chances to get this right this time around, as Liquid returns to the Invitational alongside MIBR, Ninjas in Pyjamas, and FaZe Clan. I guess I can't give this a breakdown without mentioning this first.
Why in the hell do we have 3 Latin American teams in the same damn group?
I've been telling myself this wasn't a problem ever since the seeding show, but now I think it's really bad. You can knock down their chances from 4 to just 3, because there's a guarantee that at least one of them is getting eliminated in that group stage. Whether 2 of them are eliminated is entirely dependent on how Giants Gaming does in that group. I'm not blaming Milos or Emzo for how they drew balls out of a cup, but there were so many different ways of handling the seeding that doing random draws like this now feels like a big Brazilian betrayal. But anyway, it's not the end of the world, and we still have some squads to talk about. Let's start with Team Liquid. They are here as the second minor winner, qualifying through winning the OGA Pit Minor in Croatia back in November of last year. Prior to that, they won their ESL regional tournament BR6 in first place, were runners-up to TSM at DreamHack Montreal, and placed 4th in Pro League for Season 10. They currently sit in 2nd in Latin American Pro League for Season 11, but they're literally only a couple of rounds away from NIP for first place. Something that the top Latin American teams have a reputation for is not making a lot of roster moves. This exact lineup of Nesk, Sexy Cake, PSK, Paula, and Moringa has been the same since last May. Won't find any North American team pulling off that shit. They went through a pretty hard slump last year after a lackluster performance at the 2019 Invitational, and they completely missed out on the Raleigh Major, but they went through some revamping, and I think it's safe to say that they are now the most complete team in that region at this moment. Player performance, support staff, recent results, everything just seems like it's falling into place for them, and I really hope that their long slump has now ended after their win at the OGA Pit. Ninjas in Pyjamas have a very minuscule lead on Team Liquid in Season 11 right now, but if we're looking at recent results for them, that's the only super positive thing to say. They made the semifinals for BR6, didn't make it out of their group of the Raleigh Major, then surges to the top of the Pro League standings for Season 10, and yeah, both FaZe Clan and NIP were gutted heading into that event because neither were playing at full strength, and while FaZe were at least able to get another Brazilian player to sub in for the one that couldn't make it because of visa problems, Ninjas in Pyjamas lost 2, and the 2 players that they got in were scraped together at the last second, and they didn't manage to win a map. Seeing them on stage at that event was probably more depressing than EG choking the Season 9 finals. So, if I'm NIP, I want to fuck up the entire Invitational. I want revenge. You're back at number 1 in Pro League right now, your team is looking tight, you haven't had a roster change since November 2018, and you haven't made it to a major stage since Paris. Sure, the odds aren't in your favor, but you have a prime opportunity to turn things around and wipe away the worst year of your competitive experience by cleaning house at Invite. Do I think you have a chance? Depends on how you deal with your other group mate. MIBR ran under the Immortals flag right up until the Raleigh Major, where they swapped brands, so you have to go back under the history of Immortals to find that the core of Cyber, Navi's, Bullet, and M-King have stuck together since November 2018, and then they replaced PX with Hugzord back in September of last year. They had a really rocky 2019, going from a Pro League Season 9 finals appearance to dropping to nearly dead last in Season 10 and barely winning their relegation match to make it for Season 11. They didn't make it out of their group in Raleigh, though that was mostly because TSM and Empire were both in there with them. And then they did the unthinkable by not only going to 3rd place at the OGA Pit Minor, but knocking out G2 in the first round to do it. I mean, who saw that coming? Not me. Roll the clip. I think G2 takes this one. I don't know if it's a 2-0 or a 2-1, but G2 takes it, if only by...
Are you sure about that?
They qualified for the Invitational by winning the LATAM Online qualifier against Team 1, and they currently sit in 5th place in Pro League after the first half split. I applaud them for figuring out what they needed to change on that team and turning things around as hard as they did over these past 6 months. Kudos to them for settling into a rhythm, and I sort of hope that their current Pro League standing is not a representation of how they'll do it at Invite. Hopefully, they'll be a sleeper team and they can surprise some people. And the only Brazilian team that's not in the same group is FaZe Clan. Except this time they're in the group that I consider to be this year's group of death, and I don't know which one is worse for them. FaZe is comprised of Astro, Cameraman, Mav, Yuna, and Ion, and also have a history for sticking together for a long time, so their team cohesion should be pretty on point right now. They've been to every single Pro League final since Season 7, placed second at BR6 to Team Liquid, made the Raleigh Major quarterfinals where they lost to the eventual winners in Team Empire, sucked at DreamHack Montreal for some reason, then placed second in Pro League Season 10, and then got hit with Ion not being allowed into the country, which leads back into that whole situation I talked about with Nip earlier. Of any team in any region, FaZe is one I desperately want to see win a major. The longevity, competitive consistency, and their running storyline of always making it to big events but always falling short make them the underdog team I think has the best chance here. Being second in Latin America for Season 11 is a good indicator of current performance, and they should also be looking for revenge after how their Season 10 finals win awry. But of Latin America's representatives, this is how I'm ranking all 4 of them. Again, no grades, no numbers, this is purely an opinionated listing. Who will emerge from the Group C Latin American Slumber Party? Well, one of these teams has to make it, and will FaZe Clan make it out of the Group of Death? I don't know, we'll find out next week. We have 2 more groups to do. We have Europe and Asia Pacific to talk about over the next few days, and again, the big Master Predictions video is coming out either a day or 2 before the start of the group stage, because you kids are so desperate to laugh at me and my theories being ripped apart by teams I didn't think had a chance in this event. So hit up my Twitch, my Twitter, and this YouTube channel for the rest of the coverage you need both before and during the event, and I'll see you later. Oh yeah, peace.